Hello everybody and welcome back to another EPI video. Today is November 4th, 2024. That's right, one day away from the election for president, for Congress, as well as for various other statewide races across the nation. So, without further ado, I want to start my final governor's prediction. This is it. This is the last one for the 2024 United States gubernatorial elections. Without further ado, let's head right into it. If you win a state by 10 points or more, this is safe. So, let's make our predictions here. Now, as we can see, there's 11 seats up, and this is not, of course, as big as a year like 2022 or midterm years, which have most of the governor's races, but it's definitely bigger than 2021 or 2023 off years in the off-year election cycle. So, it has 11 races. And let's just get right into it. So I think the Democrats, first one that comes into mind that they'll win 10 points by more, Delaware. It's simple. It's Matt Meyer is likely going to be the next governor of the state of Delaware. As you can see here, Matt Meyer is the Newcastle County executive. And, he's even up in the polls. Bigger primary turnout, as you can see. It's safe, and he's up big in the polls. Should have no problem there. Democrats will also likely win Washington by a safe margin, though it's possible that not. But Bob Ferguson is a good candidate. We've known Bob Ferguson for a bit. He's the Washington Attorney General. And, his opponent, Dave Reichert, I think Reichert was a former U.S. representative for 14 years. And he's a good candidate. And Democrats won in terms of if you combine their vote share to Republicans in the primary. It has an open primary, as you can see here, which means anybody can participate in the top two qualify. I think that it was 12 points, and that's good. It is definitely good for the Democrats. It's less than Biden's 19-point victory, and that's why I think this race could hover around 10 points, but I think Ferguson's going to win by more. It's just that Reichert's a good candidate, but as you can see, even in some of the polls, ActiVote says he's solidified, and so does Research Company, but at least Public Policy Polling, that has it within 7. Strategies 360 has it within 10. So, I think he'll win by like 12, again, around that margin, give or take a few points. But Reichert does seem like a good candidate. So there's that. I think also, at this point, North Carolina is safe. That's what I had in my last video. The reason North Carolina is safe for the Democrats is because Mark Robinson is just such a terrible candidate. He really is truly a terrible candidate. As you can see here, he really stumbled. On September 19th, when CNN released the story of him detailing these comments that he did deny, it really ruined his bid even more because the thing is, Robinson was already a bad candidate that had a shot of winning, but it never looked like he actually was, and I never at any point thought he was going to win. But at this point, it's a campaign that seems tanked. I mean, look at the polling. First of all, fundraising also is key, but he's only about 2-1 down. But the polling is what's key here because Atlas Intel Most Accurate 2020 pollster has him down 11. Emerson College, he's down 12. New York Times Siena College, he's down 18. These are all over 10. You can look at all these other polls, and there's no poll where he is at least within 10 except this one. But this is the old Atlas Intel poll. So, it is likely that Stein will win just by that. His advantage is there. He's also a good candidate, but Mark Robinson's a bad candidate. It's not looking good for Mark Robinson. I could see it right around 10 just because the undecideds are more likely to go to Robinson. And also there are people that are probably appalled by his comments that they don't really want to tell pollsters they're voting for him. So I think it's going to be slightly closer than the polls predict. But I think he'll still win by a safe margin, Josh Stein. Let's go to the safe ones for Republicans. Vermont, Phil Scott, super popular governor. Bluest state in America, but he wins by so much, like 40 points, like he did last time. West Virginia, Patrick Morrisey, the Attorney General, he won the primary he's going to beat Steve Miller, likely by safe margin, deep red state. Mike Braun, he won the primary with Trump's endorsement. He's facing Jennifer McCormick and Donald Rainwater, the Libertarian. And, he'll also, Indiana, red state, pretty red. And he'll likely win by a safe margin. It's just these things are not hard to predict. Mike Kehoe also had a Trump co-endorsement with two of the other candidates. He'll likely win by a 10-point margin. He was seen as the most moderate among the major three. and will likely crush his Democratic opponent. And then North Dakota, Kelly Armstrong will likely beat his Democratic opponent. And it's a deep red state. I mean, Trump won it by over 30. He likely will too. These are just very simple, boring races that we all know are likely over 10. Montana also, by the way, is a place where you have Greg Gianforte, very popular governor. And you could say, well, he got only 3/4 of the vote in his primary, and that's true. But that's still not terrible. High turnout, much higher than the Democrats. And look at the polls. He's up over 20 in some, like in New York Times Siena, and he's up 19 in Public Opinion Strategies, and he's up 19 in this one. He's up by a lot. And, he's probably a popular incumbent in a deep red state that's going to win by even more. So there's that. Utah, Spencer Cox. I mean, it's interesting. It's a deep red state. Utah, Trump won by 20. And Spencer Cox is a moderate Republican, and, he's likely to win because of that. Now, I think he'll likely win by more than 10. There was a poll here that I should mention, though. I mean, he's still up by 17, which shows just how easy it is going to be for him to win over Brian King. But 18%, well, 15% of that's for Phil Lineman, the write-in, who was the more conservative choice in the primary, who actually got a significant share of the vote from the more conservative flank of the GOP there, 45.6. And, who knows how many will write in Phil Lineman, but it's going to be safe anyway for Spencer Cox. So really the only interesting gubernatorial race, New Hampshire's gubernatorial race. And this is a state that definitely leans blue at the federal level. Biden won by 7. Their Senator Maggie Hassan won by 9 in 2022. And so it definitely leans blue at the federal level, but it has a history of electing Republicans at the state level. Republicans control New Hampshire through the governorship and the state legislature, which is great for Republicans, even in a state that leans blue at the federal level. But Sununu is a popular governor. He's retiring. He endorsed Ayotte. And Kelly Ayotte she was a former senator. She won the primary decisively with slightly better turnout for the Republicans than the Democrats of Mayor Joyce Craig, the mayor of Manchester. And, she also has a fundraising advantage that's pretty significant. But the greatest part about this for her is that St. Anselm College and University of New Hampshire, both well-respected pollsters, more within the state of New Hampshire, like University of New Hampshire nailed the Trump-Haley primary perfectly. Well, they have her up 3-4. And these are the most respected pollsters. And that's a problem for Joyce Craig. Because as we've seen the polling, the fundraising, the Sununu endorsement, it makes a whole lot of sense that all these factors point to a Kelly Ayotte victory. And she likely will win by just over more than 2. It's not even tilt at this point anymore. I'd say it's very slightly in the lean Republican column. So no flips, kind of a boring cycle in terms of governor's races. Only one seat isn't safe. But that's the truth. That's my final prediction for the governor's races. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below for suggestions for new videos for me to make. Please like, please subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications so you never miss another video. So thank you so much for watching. EPI out.